Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Level Up Chronicles, where we dive deep into the dynamic world of content creation. I'm your host, Schmoogly, and this is the channel that brings you inspiring stories, valuable insights, and the vibrant journeys of creators just like you. We are a platform that creates exposure and celebrates creators who possess that undeniable spark and the passion to turn their dreams into a living reality. We understand that success is within reach for those who have what it takes, but often lack the exposure they need, and that is why I created this channel. I'm here to introduce you to a wide range of people, animators, storytellers, comedians, musicians, streamers, and influencers, bringing you their stories and showcasing their content. My goal is to provide a platform for those who may not have stumbled upon your unique talents otherwise. So grab a seat, get ready to be inspired, and join us on this remarkable journey through the world of content creation. Today, I have with me Kikojax. How's it going, Kiko?
Hello, hello.
Hello.
We're doing good. It is late.
It is.
I just realized, because I looked on Twitter halfway before this, Ahsoka just came out. So that is something that I'll be doing tonight.
Ooh, see?
So,
Okay. We were just talking about that before we started. Like, what are we going to do tonight? And you
Yeah, that is. I just realized that. I just saw something on Twitter right now, and I'm like, I got to watch that after this.
So anime.
I don't know about all that.
I don't know. Well, welcome. I appreciate you coming on. We've kind of known each other for a little bit here, just through the world of content and stuff. But for the people that don't know you, if you could just introduce yourself here and tell us kind of what you do.
Yeah, I'm a content creator, more focusing on lifestyle, video, photography. That creative realm used to be gaming, still game, but just it's just not. I would say where I am now, but I mean, I've been a creative director. I freelance stuff all the time, so that is just kind of the route I decided to take. But the upload short form, working on the YouTube, still trying to get there. But busy times.
Of course, yeah. I mean, hey, you got to start somewhere, and you've kind of found your niche, and that's great. I mean,
it's only taken me 4 years.
4 years to do it, but you're still doing it. You're still creating, so that's like the important part. So kind of going into your journey, you actually lived in California previously, and you moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and that's quite a shift, I would say, in areas. I guess it's still like city-wise, it's kind of the same, but it's definitely different. I guess what's your perspective coming from California to Dallas-Fort Worth, and especially doing like videography and photography in the two places?
So definitely different here in Texas for sure. But it was a culture shock for me coming over here because when everybody says California, they think LA, San Diego. I was not from there. I was from Northern California, small little cow towns. So there are some points where I think back to like my childhood. I'm like, we were more Texas than Texas. Like, I mean, I mean, Central Valley, like Modesto area, like that is where I'm from. So like, it was a small town feel. And then I come to Fort Worth, so, Dallas area.
It's like city.
And it's, I mean, the whole complex, the whole metropolitan is freaking like 9 million people. So I'm like, oh, this is, I grew up in a town of 8,000. So it's like, okay, this is way different as far as just living. I love it because I'm a city person, but it was definitely a shock coming over here for sure. But as far as like video and creative stuff, it's hard to say because when I was in California doing it, I was just starting out. I started around late 2016, early 2017.
Okay.
And then I ended up moving in 2020. So I ended up getting my bearings a little bit in California, but I would say I only had a true like year of like where I felt like I could command and direct a video shoot, and where I actually felt really comfortable doing it. Compared to out here where I actually like felt like I could do anything I really needed to, and it was still a learning process, and I'm still learning things, meeting new people and all that kind of stuff. But it was just I guess it's kind of a little bit uncomparable when it comes to where my journey started, at least. I will say the money is better out here. That is for sure.
Right.
Dallas people pay. And I grew up in a really poor part of California, so it was like it was definitely just a culture shock altogether, I would say.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like you said, that's what everyone thinks about when they think of California is, you know, Los Angeles. So,
No, that was not me.
no,
I love LA, but that was not me.
right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I lived in LA too for a little bit when my wife traveled for travel nursing. We lived down there. So it's definitely like, whoa, coming, because I'm in Iowa now. So it's like, holy cow. It's like, this is definitely different. So really, you're self-taught videographer, photographer.
Yeah.
So
I'm
how
110% self-taught.
see, and I feel like self-taught is like really good because you're actually teaching yourself. You're not going through a curriculum. You're like learning the stuff that you want to learn. So I guess how did you like hone in on your skills and be like, look, this is what I want to do with my videography, and not like certain things. I know you have a very wide range of videography skills when it comes to like weddings and esports and everything. I guess how did you focus on learning?
It was honestly, I had to. It was so I picked it up in like late 2016, and I went through this program through my church that was there, and I was one of the only people really like interested in media. So I just kind of picked it up, and I was decent with a camera. So they were like, okay, and they tried teaching me to edit kind of early 2017 for like 3 months, and like I was so thrown off, like just trying to learn everything.
Right.
Come to find out 2 months later after that, half of our like team there was moving here to Texas, and the main media person was as well. So I have about roughly around 5 to 6 months. It was really like 4 to 5 months of video editing experience under my wing, and I ended up getting a job as a creative director. And this was also like I had to run an entire conference and like everything. I had no graphic design experience. I was learning that quite literally weeks before the conference, and I was the only one that could do it. So I was learning on the fly. So I was forced to. There was no like I got to ease in and choose what I want. No, it was, hey, you have a job here now, which I was grateful for because I was a pizza delivery boy before that.
Oh,
but
see, okay,
yeah. So like I was grateful, but it wasn't like I get to choose. It was more of you were thrown into the wolves. Have fun. Let's get this done. And I'm like, cool, like sweet. Let's just figure it out. So it was a lot of trial by fire, but it was more along the lines of like I was watching people that inspired me. That was around the time Casey Neistat was doing his thing with his daily vlogs of like 800 straight videos a day.
Right.
I'm a huge Peter McKinnon fan, Matty Apoya, like those, like the big guys. I followed them when they were smaller. And that definitely inspired me. I wouldn't say it like shaped me to who I am, but it was more of like I was just learning from other people in my field. Being a creative director, you have to be very like you have to network a lot,
right?
Talk to a bunch of different people, and so there were other local churches that I just got a lot of inspiration from. There were other people down in LA, New York that they were doing things, and I'm like, okay, how do they do that? And I was just at that point, I was just really hungry to learn because I was so new to it. So I was learning. I was looking up everything. I would see a video and be like, how did they do that? And I would go in and try to figure it out and Premiere myself. So it was a lot of like just literally like trial by fire, figuring it out on your own. And a lot of things I did terribly. I look back at some of my other videos, I was like, oh, I was awful. I was terrible. I was like, I've been trying to track down a specific video actually, but that's a story for a different time.
You'll find it. You will find it.
I will. I think
it's in your portfolio somewhere. Like you just
no, it's not. I have to go back to California to find it.
Man, okay.
It's on
some hard drive.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it's on some hard drive in the church still. Like just
absolutely
from your very first gig.
But yeah, no, that shaped it. I would say like it wasn't I got to choose. It was no, you're forced to learn, and I got to be creative in the sense of like I got to do what I wanted, but it was also a lot of like, okay, we're gonna go this direction. We did a whole series off of like 13 Reasons Why when that was a big thing.
Oh yeah.
So I had to learn how to do like a little tape recorder effect, and it was a lot of So it was a lot of like things of learning on the fly, and it was just circumstantial. Like we did like a lot of galaxy themed stuff one time, and so it was just learning a lot of that. I was like, okay. So it's just very different, and it was a lot of just like I said, that first like 2 years, it was a lot of just me adapting and just constantly trying to just figure it out. There was no like I have a clear direction and I want to do this. There was none of that.
I mean, that's great because
Yeah.
it gives you like, I guess, sink or swim really at that point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it was it forced me to be good, and that's like because we were. I think not anymore, but at the time, from like the time I was employed there, we were the largest youth ministry in California. So like
Oh, wow.
we had to be good. There was
right,
no like there was no subpar.
no mediocre. Yeah, yeah.
No, absolutely not. And the person before me was fantastic. She was great. I was like, why are you leaving?
Right.
Why do you do this to me?
Better opportunities, I guess. At that point,
Yeah.
it's like.
No, 100%.
So going from that, I guess you've had the opportunity since like your ministry of videography. You've had the opportunity to work with some pretty diverse clients. I mean, from energy drink companies to going to esports events. I guess how does your mindset go into these different events? Because going from esports to an energy drink company to real estate or wedding photography, those are very different industries. So walk me through like your mindset when you're doing that, because I'm sure there's different shoots and angles that you would use.
Yeah. I think because I got my first wedding, it was right after I moved here. Or no,
Okay.
I take that back. I got my first wedding. It was terrible, and I don't count
Oh,
it as
shoot.
my first wedding.
Okay.
I don't count it as my first wedding because it was all in Spanish, and I don't speak a lick of Spanish.
Wow.
And I was like,
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out. So I don't count that one. So my first wedding wasn't really until like 2021. I
Okay.
ended up getting flown back to California, luckily.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I did it, but a lot of that, at least wedding for me, it's a recap video.
Yeah.
I mean, depending
Yeah.
on how they want it, but my first client, I knew them from the church, and they're like the nicest family in the world. Like I'm still best friends with both of her brothers.
Awesome.
So like
Yeah.
so they were really easygoing, which was great because I needed that. But a lot
Right.
of it is through like I compare like travel vlog style to weddings, at least.
Okay. That
As far
makes
as
sense.
the style of sequence and like just pacing, and because like travel vlogs you can speed up real quick, but like weddings you don't have to. So it's a lot of that really nice slow motion B-roll, really just pulling on heartstrings, and that's something I've always been good at from the start. I always somehow picked the right music. Like that was never a problem for me. It was always just finding that.
Okay. Yeah.
So weddings was actually really easy to transition to because I did a lot of that style within the church. A lot of the church stuff that I've actually done translates a lot because I mean, if you think of at least from our church, we had a very dark sanctuary. We had a stage. We were we were a bigger church, and so all of a sudden I'm shooting at esports, and I'm like, wait, this I'm shooting church right now. This is nothing. Like
Yeah. Right. Just a big stage with people on it. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it was very much the same. You're still getting the crowd reactions. You're getting the people on stage. Like you're doing all that. So a lot of that actually like just stemmed from being that. As far as like the energy drinks, because I've worked with Juvie before.
Right.
I've done a little bit of product photography because we've had our own apparel. So I knew, luckily enough, it was at an event too. It wasn't necessarily just like a style, like product style. It was actually at like a gaming event. It was a gamers for giving charity event, and so it was shooting an event of people playing video games. So it was not anything like too, I would say, out of my realm. I've done I've done a lot. The main one, which I want to dip into more this year, which I don't know if I'll be able to, is more documentary style, and I don't know how I would do with that. I feel like I could do well because I feel like it's a mixture of a lot of different things that I've done before.
Right.
But piecing it all together, storyboarding it all, I've never had to do that. It was always just, hey, we're gonna go on the fly and we're just gonna do this. Like, let's go, and I'll figure it out in post. That's not what documentary is. You have to storyboard that out. Like
I was gonna say, yeah, but I feel like your experience, I mean, like you said, doing in the church and the wedding, like you are kind of making it, it's not really documentary style, but you still have the concept of documentary style where you're telling a story through your post-production. But yeah, that is true. That is something to think about, because documentary, you got to think way before post-production, because everything you're shooting has to make sense before post-production.
Yeah, so I think that'll be different, but oh yeah, a lot of it actually transferred well from the church, which was genuinely surprising. Because whenever I found myself, I was just taking the same principles that I was doing. So
Right.
it was nothing really like too new. It was just uh, how one I made it my own, and the biggest thing is I never want to look too much like the photographer next to me
Right.
or the videographer next to me. So in a sense, the church has helped me with that, just because I looked at it differently than a lot of other people.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a completely different world when it comes to esports. The
Right.
mainstream world.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why when I was looking at your portfolio, I'm just like, your range is just like, from A to Z. And it's like, what more can you do? And then you bring up documentary, like, oh, there you go. That's like another thing that you can add.
Yeah.
Do you have anything in the works with that? Or that's just something that you want to get into with documentary?
I would love to help out. I would say there's two esports I would love to help out, and it's Call of Duty, and it would be Rocket League. I
Yeah.
don't
Hmm.
know how Rocket League's a little bit tougher because
Hmm.
NA is not there's not very good. There's a couple,
That's,
but also a lot
yeah.
of the NA around me, they have well established media teams. I mean, it's optic
Right.
and complexity,
Right.
so it's like I'm not touching either of them, but like
Yeah.
they have their own people, so it's definitely going to be interesting. I know like New York, Minnesota, and Seattle are still based here in Dallas for Call of Duty.
Right.
I just don't know where they're headed,
Mm.
and I don't know if I have the connections there yet. So no, nothing in the works right now, but eventually I have a couple other things which I cannot say, but
Yeah, no,
uh,
that's fair. That's fair.
but
Anyone,
yeah,
anyone listening, if you guys are looking for a videographer, media man, this is your guy right here. He is
boy
open
needs to
to work
furnish the living room right there.
and he needs to pay his bills. So please,
Facts.
please
Rent is
hire this
coming.
man. How do you keep up with like your trends when it comes to like staying relevant with your photography, videography? I mean, like you said, you did early on in your career, you did a lot of research on like, watching influencers that you would like to kind of be like. How do you do that now? I mean, bouncing ideas off of other videographers, looking at other people's work.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely taking a peek at other people's work. It's nice to have a friend group like two. I would say two of my closer friends are John C. Stout and Sooner,
Yeah.
where obviously Sooner helps out with Joe and E, and he's
Right.
still really good friends with Rob and Jayhawk
Hmm.
and all that. So and I'm close with the majority of them. So
Yeah.
being able to, I can text Sooner at a drop of a dime, and he responds to me within 10 minutes. So being able to shoot just different ideas off of him specifically helps out a ton. But also just I would say having that close friend group of people that are not even necessarily in your same realm. Because Sooner is like he's in that back end editing realm as me, but
Right.
like
Yeah.
John, he's still doing gaming content,
I would say
and
he's
which is
still live
fine.
streaming gaming. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm pretty sure he's actually probably playing Baldur's Gate right now.
I would say he's
I
probably
would be
live on Kick right now.
yeah. But I think just having those people to just like I shot John a message and I was like, "Hey,
Mm.
do you think it's corny to put out a certain tweet?" And he's like, "No, I think that's fine because you've put the word, And he ran me through of like why it was okay or why it wasn't okay, and I was like,
Right.
"Okay, that's cool." But I like having that an internal friend group to be able to
Hmm.
like either reassure you or say, "Hey, go this way instead." Like I think that's a big part, but I also think it's looking at influencers that not necessarily are big right now.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's influencers that are growing, obviously,
Right.
um, but I think that transition well. I think that's what a lot of people don't. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't value it high enough. Is that people that transition well?
Yeah.
And I mean, even to take it to the world of gaming,
Right.
uh, like Tim the Tatman and Nick Merckx. Like
Hmm.
they have transitioned from Overwatch to Fortnite to COD to Apex to and all that, and they've kept their viewership and they've grown from that.
Right.
And I think that's obviously their community is always going to be behind them,
Hmm.
but it's like being able to hold on consistently with transitioning between games, and I think like uh, going back to like Peter McKinnon right
Mm-hmm.
now, like he's going through this whole film process, and I'm not super big into film when it comes to taking photos, but I still watch his videos because they're interesting as could
Right.
be, and
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out what he's doing and how he's doing, and I still study his videos. So I think valuing people that transition well from when they're not switching content, but just dipping into a different field that they're not super familiar with is something that I gravitate towards, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to learn from that if I can.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up of finding a friend group, to bounce
Yeah.
ideas off of, and I think that's something that I found too, just with the guys over on, TNL, just
Yeah.
finding people that want to do the same thing as you and like further yourself in this content world. And yeah, it's great. You can just message them and get ideas right away, and that's great. That's something that everyone should strive for.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also like I would like make sure that friend group is growing, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because it's like if you're the only one growing, then you're gonna leave them eventually. Like
as sad as
especially
that sounds, but yeah,
yeah, as
no,
sad as that sounds, but yeah,
yeah,
like I mean, they'll still always be your friends, but in a sense of like learning and pushing, moving forward, like because I mean, I heard Jayhawk say this where Rob was or like he was posting a bunch. He's like, "Why aren't you doing this on Instagram?" Because he was doing a bunch on TikTok. And
right,
Rob's like,
right,
"Shit, I need to do that." And it's just somebody to just pretty much just kick you in the ass and just say, "Hey, like, get on your shit, let's go." Like
right.
it
Yeah,
works, so
someone that
stop.
won't be someone that won't be like you're doing great. Like someone that's
Yeah,
going to be like you're actually like doing terrible,
yeah,
and I need you to step up your game because like
yeah.
I
And
know
it's not
you
even
can do
terrible. It's
better.
like it's not even doing terrible. It's like you could be doing more, and you
Yeah,
could be.
right.
So
Just someone to tell you that you should be able to
yeah,
do more is
absolutely.
always good to hear.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't really, you kind of brought it up a little bit. A lot of people don't really understand or appreciate the back end a lot when it comes to, creating. A lot of people, only see the face of the content, like you were talking about Nick Merckx and Tim the Tatman. In your mind, is there any way that you think that, editors could be more like, I guess, praised when it comes to like editing for people? Because it is unfortunate, when sometimes editors or designers don't get the credit for their work.
yeah.
It's just a
Uh,
super gray area.
it really is, and it is a gray area, and there is a reason for that, and
Mm,
it's because a lot of people that choose to be on the back end is because they want to be. They don't want to be in the spotlight,
that's fair.
and I think like the people that do want to be or like have the personality to be,
Mm,
they are known. You see like the Logan Dawsons, you see the Whips,
hmm
like you
hmm
see those names pop up, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, no, like he's Tim's guy or he's Nick's guy or he's
Yeah.
Zuma's guy, like, and they're there, and they have a personality for that, and I think like a lot of people like you'll never know them
hmm
because I mean they don't want to be. They're gonna be there. They enjoy your content. They're gonna edit your content, and they just
Right.
collect a paycheck. Like,
Yeah, and
and
it's a good
I
one.
think, yeah. So I think I think that's just a really gray area,
hmm
and I think if editors want to get that recognition, I feel like they have to put in that extra work of
Yeah.
making a little bit of content for themselves and being a little bit more active on social media and all
Right.
that. Because if they don't want it, then they don't want it, and that's completely okay. There's a reason why you're editing videos and not streaming 5 times a week. Like, there's a reason for
Right.
that.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's a very good answer. That's something I think that a lot of people misunderstand when it comes to
yeah,
back
and
end
I think
people.
I will say though, it is definitely on the streamer to be
Yeah.
appreciative and give them a shout out every once in a while, and do all that. I think that's I think, but that's obvious. I think that's the bare minimum. That's
Right.
yeah. You'll start to see like these streamers start sending out like Christmas gifts and stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's
You're like,
that's
that's what is
that's
good.
extra. Yeah, that's the extra appreciation stuff that all that kind of stuff.
Right. Do you have any specific projects that really stand out to you? Like ones that were either challenging or like challenging and rewarding in the end? And like, how did you navigate through it?
Yeah, one specific one, and it was back in 2019. So the conference that I told you I ran in 2017, I ran
Yeah.
it for 2 more years after that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was not only like the like not content. I would say I was still the creative director, but like I was head over the majority of video projects, and I was also over production for the entire event. So making sure camera ops were there,
Right.
videos were played on time, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And throughout all that, I was upstairs, making sure all was ran, had people doing everything. But I was also editing the recap video for the conference. And one thing that we did was we did the recap video and we played it at the end of the conference, like at the end of the very end.
Okay.
So like, I mean, they were closing out, and they say, "Oh, let's take a quick look at what happened at this weekend," and they played the video. But like, so I had all I picked out was the song. That's all I had.
Oh, shoot.
And
Okay.
everything out, I had people bringing me cards, like SD cards, throughout the entire 3
Oh,
days.
wow. Okay.
So I was editing while manning everything,
Right.
editing the video throughout the whole thing. And the biggest one was I managed to get the speaker that just spoke to get a quote into that video.
Wow.
And
So literally you're doing it while he's talking.
So
Pull the
it was
SD
funny.
from the camera and bring it over to you.
It was like I literally pulled the USB out of the computer, threw it into the
my
clip, and I was
God.
like, okay, and I plugged it in, and it worked out just enough to where it worked, and and then I uploaded it with around like 7 minutes to spare. He was just closing out. Then they were just the hosts of the conference were about to come out and do the cold close, and then I texted him like right before he went out. I was like, hey, we're good to go. We got it up. And I was like, cool. But like that was a solid so the thing started Thursday night and it ended Saturday night. So that whole 3 days, like I got a total of maybe 6 hours sleep that whole 3 days.
I mean, you lose the sleep to get the shots.
Yeah,
like you lose
absolutely.
the sleep to get everything you need. Holy cow.
Yeah. So that was probably one of my, I would say, like, proudest moments, because at that point, that was when I knew that was for me the turning point. That was when I knew I could not only manage 2 different teams, so because I had to manage my content like creators that were getting all the content for me, and all the cam ops and all that was, they were completely separate. That's when I realized, I was like, okay, I am in control and I could actually put something together if I needed to. So that was the turning point of like, okay, no, I actually have a knack for this and I can do this.
And that's crazy because that was your first gig too, like you said. Like it, I mean, it was like 2 years into it, but it was still like your first gig actually doing videography, coming from pizza delivery driver. So I mean, that's cool that the leading up to it, everything that you taught yourself and you learned, it came to that big event, and you actually.
And we were going to go bigger the next year than COVID is, so we were like, all right, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, no. So because like the first year we did the conference, I had so much help because I was so like I was a chick on that, running. And the next year we had a little bit of help, just because there was just so many different moving parts to it. But then that year was the one and only year, unfortunately, we ran it. I mean, full blown on our own. So that was so that was probably I would say the most proud I've been of a video. And I look back now, I'm like, God, the video's not even that great. But I was like,
see, at the time, you were like, this is so good.
This is amazing. This deserves an Oscar. But just because of what I knew and how my editing style. But as far as like one of my favorite pieces of content, we did it was here in Texas. We did a building reveal. And there was a certain transition I've been holding on to at the time. It was since 2018, and I was in 2021 when we did it. And I got to use it, and it worked out perfectly. It was like this. I basically like dissolved a sketch of the new building that we're moving into like a drone shot of the building, and
Wow.
it came out so cool. But yeah, that was probably like one of my more favorite pieces of content, just because everything worked out. I mean, it was just about perfect. There were a couple of things I could go back now and be like, but like it
See, there's
was
always something you
not.
can look back at
Oh,
and
absolutely.
be like now where you are now and looking back on your stuff, it's like, okay,
Oh,
I've definitely learned how to do this better now. Like
I was awful.
you start somewhere. Everyone starts somewhere.
Absolutely.
So do you have drone? Do you actually have drone videography experience then?
No, that is actually one area I do not.
Mm,
Every drone shot that you've probably seen has been shot by a friend of mine.
awesome.
So
Okay.
as much as
Something
I
that
would
you would
love
ever get
to,
into? Yeah.
oh, I would love to. I just don't have the funds right now. I
Oh,
don't have it
yeah, that's fair.
to dip in to learn. If
That's
like I
fair.
was experienced and I could go, I would drop probably like 400 or 500 on like a little mini drone just to
Hmm.
up my quality a bit. But I would have to learn it, and I'm like I just don't, not right now.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
in the
fair.
future,
It's
but
definitely like
not right now.
something different though. My brother just got one, and that's what's super interesting lately. I mean, it's literally just like an Xbox PS4 controller, and you're flying the drone. I mean, so
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, that's something that you could definitely learn if you really want to, because with
yeah.
your gaming background, I think it wouldn't be like too bad. But
Yeah, no, it would be fun for sure. I had, luckily enough, I have friends that fly them, so if I ever really need,
hey,
I'm
can
definitely
you
have to do it.
come get this drone shot for me,
Yeah,
please?
literally, I was like, I'll shoot you a quick 2 bills. Just come out, come on.
Yeah, yeah, 2 million, right? I wish, yeah.
Yeah.
So this field is actually like super competitive. Or more recently, it's become more competitive, I would say, with like videography and photography. I guess what's one thing that makes you like stand out, like when you market yourself to people? Is it the experience through, learning yourself through church and then all your other portfolios, or how do you kind of bring yourself, say I'm a new client, how would you like get me on board?
Um, that's actually really hard because I've been struggling with that myself.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I have definitely been like, I wouldn't. It's so hard because I do have experience in a lot of different places, but
Yeah.
I'm not like, I would say really good in one specific area. I am more of a jack of all trades, and I can do a lot at
Hmm.
a decent quality
Right.
pace. So I'm in that process right now of like where I really want to like figure like where what I want to do it pretty much as far as like how I want to market myself. I'm
Hmm.
leaning towards event side photography and like videography in that style. Mainly because uh it's, I wouldn't say it's the easiest for me, but
Hmm.
like it's what comes most natural.
Yeah. Hmm.
And even though I'm not like fantastic at it, and I don't have the equipment that I would like to be able to do it like
Hmm.
properly,
Hmm.
um, but I have enough to get by, and I have enough to where I know I'm worth what I say I'm worth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say just event style, whether that's esports, you know, church style, concert, like just that, TwitchCon, DreamHack, like that kind of style.
Right.
Absolutely, like that. That is probably my realm of where I say I'm most comfortable at.
And then anyone listening right now that actually want to get into like videography and photography, like what tips would you give to like a newer person that is considering like the self-taught path, kind of the self-taught path that you did?
Yeah, I mean, graduate from YouTube University. You never graduate from YouTube University. You're
No,
always learning.
never. Gosh, there's always something.
No, at least get a minor in YouTube University.
Right,
Uh,
right.
but I would say like it is not a field for somebody that does one thing
Mm,
and they just expect it to just keep on coming. It's not. It is not. I've done many things and many things well, and I
Mm-hmm.
still have trouble locking down clients. I just lost I'm pretty sure I lost a client today. Not lost, but I just didn't.
Shit.
They're a little on the little cheaper side. So I was
Yeah.
like, I can't. I'm like, I just can't right
Value
now.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, value yourself, but also, and this is controversial, and
Mm-hmm.
I will say this: don't be afraid to work for free, but know when to stop,
Yeah.
because there's I hear a lot of people, but this and it typically comes from the top, and what I mean by the top is more experienced.
Right.
It'd be like never work for free, like never ever work for free. And while that is true, you have to have a level of credibility and
Mm.
like just experience, whether that's months and years or different projects lined up to be like, hey, I have all this to prove.
Right.
I'm not shooting for free. And that's where I am now.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I've been past that for a long time. Um, but I think as somebody new coming in, don't be afraid to do that. Like I have a buddy right now that his work is fantastic. Like he
Mm-hmm.
is a great concert photographer.
Awesome.
And he
Yeah.
just shot for I don't know if you know who Jake is. He
Yeah.
sings Golden Hour.
Yeah. Jake. Yeah.
Um, so
Mm-hmm.
he just shot his concert in Dallas, and he
Wow.
did a cold DM to his promoter and was like, "Hey, I will shoot this for free. Here's my portfolio. Can I
Mm-hmm.
come shoot?" And he did, and he did it completely for free. And that's something I'm gonna start doing when it comes to just a certain, I would say certain people, because
Right.
I definitely have to enjoy what I'm shooting, but like
Yeah. Right. For free.
don't
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah, but like don't like if there is a like especially if you're in esports because a lot of probably this audience is like
Mm-hmm.
go to a Halo event, go to a COD event, bring your camera and shoot. They don't X cameras out. You can
Right.
bring them whatever you want and shoot. Like post your stuff. Like and I think that doing that will not it not only like gets your name out there, but it just gets reps under your belt.
Right.
Like because it's like I don't even know how many on my website now. I think the majority, I would say one, two, three, four out of my 6 esports events that are on there, I shot for free. I just
Oh
went to a
wow.
shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I only got paid for. Actually, no, I think I only got paid for one of them. But all the rest were free. I just went and shot because I needed more content to be able
Right.
to be like, hey, here's my website. Here's what I can do. Let's rock.
Right.
And and even myself, I'm still in the process of just trying to lock down. Esports is a hard one to get into right now because there are known quantities and they're really
Mm-hmm.
good, but
Mm-hmm.
also just the financial state of esports is awful.
Yeah.
But
Everything
I
going
would
on.
just yeah, but I would just say whatever field you're getting into, go do 2 or 3 shoots. Go shoot some portraits of your friends. Go shoot a real estate. Go call a. You see real estate signs all the time. Go
Mm-hmm.
shoot a call. Hey, can I shoot a video for you, or shoot some photos for you?
Right.
Do those cold call emails to promoters. Like however you want to get into your field, you'll eventually find a way.
Yeah, and I think that's a like you said, that is a huge misconception when it comes to
Yeah.
like getting into it, like because you do hear that pretty often, don't work for free, but it's like how do you build your portfolio if you don't actually like do anything, if you're only
Yeah.
going to do it for money. So it makes sense. And yeah, I guess you'll know yourself at what point you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this for free anymore, I'm actually going to.
Yeah. And I think the only one that's different is weddings.
Mm,
Weddings is extremely hard, and this is what I'll say about weddings.
hmm.
Never take a wedding for free, ever.
Yeah.
Like you can be dirt cheap, but never do a wedding for free. Offer to second shoot for somebody. That's how you get into the wedding business of
Mm,
knowing somebody that does weddings and be like, hey, like even if it's like, hey, can I shadow you? And you can ask, like, hey, can I shadow you? I'll literally be there the entire time. Just shoot me like $150.
right.
And it may be an 8-hour day, but the lessons you will learn from the
Hmm.
person that is in charge there, even if it's for free. Like I've had people that like, hey, next time you shoot your wedding, can I come shoot for you? And they're more than likely going to be like, Hell yeah, that's extra footage. That's extra.
I was gonna say extra stuff they can use. Yeah.
Absolutely. And but the when you get into that position, when you finally get there, ask
Hmm.
questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions
Right.
because you're gonna learn a ton, and then you'll go through and start to learn that way. Weddings is the only different one in my opinion. That one you don't do for free unless you're like a second or third shooter.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see where that would come into play. I mean, and that's a great one thing you did talk about, was the DMing and the cold emails. Like, don't hesitate to do that because, like, you never know what could come of it. Like you said, your
Yeah.
buddy just DM'd the manager of Jake, and he was like, "Sure, why not?" Like,
Yeah, come on through. We have a pass for you. Let's go. And these photos came out dope.
right? It's just like,
I still haven't been able to talk to him about it. I want to.
if you're listening,
Yeah.
talk to Kiko, please.
But yeah, that would be just like I would say, like I said, it's controversial, but I would just
No, it makes
but
sense the way you explained it because
yeah.
that's like, how else are you going to get anything done? I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, and if you're at that point, if you're experienced, like if you have a little bit of experience under your belt, at that point you got to start making your own content,
Right.
and that's why I started doing what I'm doing. It's like I know what to do. Now it's just at that point you got to learn social media and all that kind of fun stuff. But
I was gonna say it's a huge realm when it comes to it. You're not just like one thing. You're a photographer, a videographer, video editor, content creator, social media manager. Like,
you are a brand.
Yeah. Right. It's not just, oh, this is all I do. Like, you do so much more than just one thing.
Absolutely.
And the diversity is good too, because would you say the diversity that you have is like a better portfolio than just strictly Kikojax wedding photographer? Like,
oh yeah. Yeah, no, I have diversified myself very well. That is actually, I would say, probably the one thing that does make me
stand out. Yeah.
I have done many things. I've shot merch. I've shot, obviously real estate, wedding, esports, concert, like style. I mean, everything. I've shot majority of it. I even have some documentary type style videos. Like, I have all of it. It's just being able to, like, as I've grown as a videographer and a photographer, what do I truly put out there now? Because like I was throwing everything on my website, and then like I was looking at it, like I pulled back about 50% of it.
Just jumbled, yeah.
Yeah, well, not even jumbled. I just didn't want that to represent what I could do. Like, there were plenty of things where I'm like, I mean, this was good for the time, but just I could do so much better now.
Right.
And it's like, hey, we want this style video. I was like, okay, awesome. Here's something that I shot 4 years ago. But I'm way better now. Like,
Right.
I would rather just take my chance.
Blow their minds when you're.
Yeah, I'd rather just take my chance and be like, hey, I can do this well. Like,
right.
yeah.
When it comes to newer people getting into it, or not even just newer people, like what would you say would be the best thing to start out with when it comes to like shooting? Best equipment. I mean, I guess your phone's right in front of you. Your phone is a good way to start.
Yeah, no, your phone is definitely a good way to start. I'm very camera leaning. I always lean towards the camera, but our phones are so good now. It's like it's kind of crazy. I've just never personally been a fan of phone footage. It works, especially if you do it right, but that takes a lot of learning and looking up on YouTube how to make iPhone footage cinematic, or how to make it look really good, or how to take photos really well, or so it's a lot of, in my opinion, doing like going out and shooting yourself, taking the initiative of like going and doing something, but also learning on how to make that look as if you were to get it from a camera, or something along those lines. But yeah, I would definitely say phone first. But at that point, you go to crop sensor cameras, and I mean, you can go. I could talk days on this. I know gear like crazy, so it's like, I mean, if you were, in my opinion, go Sony. like that's just gonna be the easiest way. It has the most like when it comes to just uh, quality out of camera, fantastic. Lens options, fantastic.
Yeah.
Tutorials on YouTube of people doing things, fantastic. Like, I mean, it has
YouTube
everything.
University. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I definitely lean Sony, but
Okay.
it all depends on how much you want to dip into it, budget wise, and like, do you actually love it? Because like, don't buy cameras go in and out, at least from like depreciation. So it's like
Yeah.
if you spend 2K on a camera and a lens, it's like you're only probably gonna get like 900 back for that. So it's like you gotta make sure
Crazy.
you absolutely love it,
Right.
and like to be able to like actually get your money's worth out of it. But yeah, I mean, phone. That would be me. I would be shooting whatever I could, making it. Yeah,
And definitely Facebook Marketplace is great for that because you can find
absolutely.
a lot of good cheap stuff on there just to get started. So I mean, it's like why
Yeah,
not grab a $200 camera and just start
yeah,
shooting? I mean,
yeah.
like I
Just
said,
learning it
experience.
too, learning what camera settings are
Hmm.
and all that. So it's like if if you don't want to dip into that that realm of like, oh, I got to spend $1,000 to get a decent camera, which is probably true. Probably like
Yeah.
750.
Right.
But like, yeah, go to Facebook Marketplace. You can find a Rebel for like 250 probably,
Right.
and just learn what you could do possibly.
Yeah. So that made me think of something interesting. I was talking with a buddy of mine the other day, and he was saying now that because you do video editing as well, and a lot of people, some people, only shoot, or some people only take photos and they don't actually do any part of the editing. And he was saying as a video editor, after he learned how to edit, it really made him think about his shoots more of like, I want to get the best shot possible now, so there's less post production work, and it's very simple because it's just easier on you at that point.
Yeah, no, 100%. I used to say this a lot in the beginning, but I don't say it as much anymore. Unless it's something like super super minor. But if I ever catch myself saying, "Oh, I'll fix it in post," that's an automatic reshoot. Like that's an
Yeah.
automatic shoot it again. Let's make sure we get this right. 'Cause I want to make sure that you want to minimize your editing time as
Hmm.
much as you possibly can,
For
and
you,
you want to put
and for the client. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
for
It's like, no,
both.
let's make sure, let's spend the extra, 30, 45 minutes here, make sure, and the product will come out so much better, and it'll save me 4 more hours on the back end versus, yeah, no,
Versus 6 hours, 8 hours on the back end.
yeah,
Like,
no, dude, oh gosh, yeah, but yeah, no, definitely getting yeah, definitely just getting that the shot right the first time is so big.
mhm,
It makes you think so differently when you're shooting, and like obviously going in with an idea of what you want to do with the video helps.
right. And I guess there is instances where like you're only going to get one good shot or one good take.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, because like you said in concerts and stuff, you're getting that one take, and if it's not good, then you're done. Like
yep,
that's it. They're not going to replay it just for you. So you
nope,
really, it's like super like you got to be on the point when it comes to
yeah,
like live events. Like that's
oh
huge.
yeah. Live events are very big. I mean, so my sister is actually a photographer as well.
Awesome.
So she's not really she's not a video editor, but she kind of does video because I've taught her a little bit. But
Yeah.
she is a photographer. She edits everything, all that.
Mm.
But even then, like there were some days where she would come up and start to edit. She was like, I was off today. I just didn't like and. And I'm sitting there like, oh, I felt great today. This is fantastic. I was like, I had a great day. But yeah, no, it's sometimes you just have those days, and you just gotta pray that it's not on a really big like I
Oh
had
my
an off
gosh.
day. I had an off day at Champs. I think it was day 2.
Mm.
It was 4 total days, but on day 2, I fell off. There was just I wasn't shooting
Just a
well. I
feeling.
just didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even that. I wasn't in the right places. Like all of a sudden, something was happening on the other side. I was like, "Frick, dude! By the time I get over there, I'll be done." And try. So day 2, I was
Hmm.
off. The other 3 days, I was on point. Like I was solid.
3 out of 4.
Uh,
That's pretty good.
yeah, No, not bad. The day that I was off, Thieves got eliminated, so I was completely okay with that. I'm like, I don't want to capture sadness.
You're
I'm
like,
fine.
that is getting deleted from my camera roll. I'm
Absolutely.
not using any of that at all.
But yeah, no, but yeah, sometimes you have an off day, and that's okay. Like, it's just like you just gotta make sure, you like, just don't have an off weekend.
I was just gonna say you need to have at least one good thing that you shot, otherwise.
Yeah, and it's like it's just quick regains too, because it's like sometimes like, oh frick, I missed that moment.
But then you're gonna miss the next one and the next one.
Yeah, so it's like, no, you gotta like, okay, you just gotta be like, fuck it, I missed it. Let's run. Let's go. Like, I'm out.
Right.
Like, come on, we gotta get the the next 4 songs or whatever. But yeah.
Where do you see yourself in like your creative journey, like in the coming years, or like any specific goals that you might have?
I would love to go full-time content with like kind of what I do. The hardest part with me there is I don't really like I kind of have a direction of where I want to go, but I'm in this process of I'm trying to build the brand not around necessarily everything I'm putting out, but around myself of like who I am.
Right.
I'm trying to take the Jayhawk approach of like he's incorporating so many different things, and funny enough, me and him are into a lot of different things, or a lot of the same things.
Right.
So I find myself getting a lot of inspo from him, but I'm like trying to make sure I'm not like directly ripping it from him.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But like I would love to go full-time content in that realm. But I almost want that to be passive income for me, of like being like more of a passion project.
Yeah.
I would love to be more of like a what's the word? Like a freelancer, but like an event freelancer in esports. Like I want to be hired out. I don't want to be necessarily really locked down.
That's fair.
Like
a team or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, unless 100 T's just comes knocking with a little nice 6-figure salary, then maybe that's a different story.
You'd be doing it.
But no, I want to. Which I mean, this is something that possibly may happen. I got to talk to somebody tomorrow, figure out what's happening there. But it's just like that. Just being able to go to events, getting flown out, being able to do all that. And just shoot and capture, like I want to be able to like have one of those iconic esports photos. Like that's one like main
like the photo,
yeah. Like I mean, not AW, IW formal scump. Like one of those photos. I want one of those photos.
See, and it's just that it takes that one time. Once you get that photo, everyone's gonna know who took it, and it's it's gonna be great.
Especially now because of social media.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm one of those people. I don't mind being in the spotlight. I don't need to stay in the back end. Like I'm not one of those people that's like, no, I want to stay in the back end. I'm like, no, I don't mind. I don't.
Like you said, a brand around yourself.
Content.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be posting content for 33 straight days for if I didn't want to be, growing and get my name out there. And,
a faceless uploader.
Yeah.
Like, nah.
I'm like, no, I don't want that at all. I'm like, I want to make friends in this industry, know people, for them to know. It's like, oh no, that's the camera guy, which I've already gotten that. Like now he takes dope photos or whatever. I've gotten that in person. I'm like, that's cool.
The feeling of that, it's like okay,
it's great.
It's true. I do
where I want to be. Yeah,
yeah. I think there's always room for improvement, and it's good that you see that vision, because I think that's something that all of us in this creative space want, is like to do it full time, or to do what we love and what is passionate full time. What are you doing now to help with, because you're not full time now?
No, I work as just a video editor for
clients
ministry, thing, and it's a really chill job. I get to work from home one of the days, and then I pretty much work 3 days, and I have Mondays off.
And see, so it's children's ministry.
It's really easy stuff where I'm like, I shouldn't be getting paid for what I like as much as for what I do, but I'm like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
like,
no.
the pays well enough. The schedule's fantastic enough for me to do these events. Like,
Yeah.
I went to like I've done all these events so far this year. I've only had to take 1 day of vacation.
Oh, see, that's awesome.
Like, and I'm like, I've been to like 6 events this year so far. So I'm
Super
like,
super lucky then when it comes to scheduling stuff.
Scheduling is amazing, and it was yeah, no, it is for right now. It is a dream job. Like, I don't really love what I'm doing, but it works out for me to pursue other things that I love doing. So that's
Well,
why
yeah, it's still in the realm of it though, so that's good that it's
Yeah.
still relevant to what you eventually want to do. So
Yeah, no, exactly.
so to kind of wrap things up, where can people find you? Are you live streaming lately?
Yeah, so I kind of live stream. I live stream like once a week, maybe if that. I actually don't know if I've been live in over 2 weeks now that I think about it. But as far as just anything and everything, it's just Kikojax on all socials. I mean,
Awesome.
Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Right, yeah, whatever it is.
YouTube, Kick, Twitch, all of it. It is Kikojax. But I definitely want to stream a little bit more consistently. But a lot of it now is editing streams. And then every once in a while, I'll get bullied on Halo or something.
Of course,
all my friends.
I would say Halo's blowing up again, so that's definitely.
Oh, it's really fun. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm awful at it, but it's fantastic.
I say I just downloaded it again, and it brings me back to high school days of like, hey, let's go have a Halo tournament after school.
Yeah,
and it's like,
it was. Yeah, I was playing with Sooner and like I Am Rob and Big Rob and all that.
Yeah.
And the other night, and I think Sooner just posted something.
I've seen some clips. Yeah, I've seen some clips.
Oh yeah, so funny, man. We're just dying because it's all offline, so we're
just messing around. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, it's great. but yeah, no. My goal is to start streaming a little bit more.
Yeah.
Still pushing short form. I wanted to do an experiment of posting 30 straight days just to see what would happen. And it was.
Was it good? Yeah.
It was good. I posted the same content on all 3 platforms. I'm going to be making a video on it eventually.
Yeah.
Long form video, but also a short form video on it as well. And then I just kept going. So right now I'm on, I think it's 33 straight days.
Awesome. Just keep going. Yeah, might as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to see how long I can keep it up, and just we'll see how that goes. But also just long form content is something that I definitely want to get into as far as like consistently. I actually dropped a video on Photoshop AI, and it actually did really well for the size of my channel. It has like almost like 250 views for for a channel that has just a little bit above 250 subscribers. It's really freaking good.
I was gonna say, yeah, more views than subscribers, so that's always good.
So we're getting there. But yeah, no, definitely want to attack that more. But also just collab with friends. Like, I want I know a lot of people here in DFW, so it's like being able to do that with them and just go events, all that kind of stuff. So it's like I post it on my socials all the time. I'm always blowing up with random memes on Twitter and
X.
Stuff.
Yeah.
X, whatever.
X, whatever. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you for coming on. This has definitely turned into one of my passion projects, just, podcasting. And I think ever since I've started this, I've like fallen in love with it. And it's great to like meet everyone and know more about them. I feel like a lot of people don't really know a lot about people like in the depth of things. They only know, surface value. So I appreciate
when it comes to like the gaming world for sure.
Yeah, right. It's usually like, oh, you're live streaming and this is what you see, but you don't really know, what they're doing outside of that. So
no, 100%. That's why I love podcasts. Podcasts are we talked a little bit before the show, but this is where I feel like I'm most at home. Like
I agree.
In front of a camera, forget it. But like podcasts, dude, I am like, I think I stuttered maybe twice this whole time. It's just like I recorded the video the other day. Yeah. It took me forever just because I was like, I don't want to say that. It sounds.
I'll say the takes that you do when you're trying to record a video are so annoying.
So annoying. I'm so annoying. Get me in a podcast, I am there.
That's what I'm saying. It just flows. Yeah.
Yeah, it is so much better.
Because how many files do you have that you're like, okay, delete this one, delete this one, delete this one, because
I just keep it rolling. I forget.
Oh, see, okay.
I'd be getting
post production. Yeah.
Absolutely. Forget that. No,
That's true.
No way. I do not have the time for that.
10-minute video turns into a 50-minute recording.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
what the hell?
It's just one short form content takes 30 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Right. And then you get 5 views on it, and you're like, God damn
Oh,
it.
it's fantastic.
The world of content is this. This is all it is.
It
Just
really is.
boom, boom, boom. Roller coaster.
It really is.
All right. Well, thank you again, Kiko, for coming on. Appreciate it a lot. You guys, everything will be down in the description. All of Kiko's links and his website, of course. And if you are looking for anyone in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for any events, hit up the man Kiko, because he is the best right now in Dallas-Fort Worth.
I also travel, so dude.
Oh, see, he also travels. Love it. He also travels. All right, guys. This has been Schmoogly with Level Up Chronicles episode 7. So, yeah, more to come. Have a good night, guys. Peace.